Neurons and neuroglia. We are going to talk briefly about the histology of neural tissue. So remember that there are two types of neural cells in the nervous system. There are neurons and neuroglia. Neurons are for processing, transfer, and storage of information, and neuroglia are for support, regulation, and protection of the neurons. And there are many types, and we're going to discuss them. So very basically, what is the definition of a neuron? So neurons are nerve cells, and they are specialized to transmit messages. We've talked about this a great deal in detail in the past. But just remember basically that there is a cell body with a nucleus, and it is the metabolic center of the cell, the main part of the nerve cell. And then we have processes, the fibers that extend from the cell body. And these can be microscopic or up to 3 to 4 feet in length. Now we'll talk more about these in detail after, but first look at this slide. We can notice these microglial cells and the astrocyte and the oligodendrocyte, and these are the support cells in the central nervous system, in the CNS, remember, and they're grouped together as neuroglia, and neuroglia actually means nerve glue. The function of neuroglia is to support, insulate, and protect the delicate neurons of the brain. So try to remember the names of these cells. Remember that these are part of the CNS. So here we are, we're looking at the anatomy of a neuron, and it's very basic. We can see the nucleus here. It also has a very large nucleolus. And looking at the processes outside the cell body, we have the dendrites, and these dendrites are conducting impulses toward the cell body, and of course we have the axons that are conducting the impulses away from the cell body. And later we'll talk about the Schwann cells and the nodes of Ranvier. But let's look here at the ends. Here we can see the axon terminals. So again, here is the cell body, the nucleus, and here are the dendrites, which are bringing the impulses towards the cell body. So remember that the axons end in this axon terminal, and these terminals contain small sacs with neurotransmitters, and the axon terminals are separated from the next neuron by a gap, the synaptic cleft, and these are between adjacent neurons, and they are what make things happen. So remember a lot. We talked about the synapse and how this happened and all the chemicals involved, but here we're just basically trying to remember the main points here. And remember, we talked about the myelin sheath, which is the whitish fatty material which covers the axons. Remember that it protects, insulates the cells, and increases the transmission rate of the impulses. And of course the Schwann cells, which produce the myelin, and the nodes of Ranvier that are gaps in the myelin sheath along the axon, which actually increase the rate of the nerve impulse down the axon.